machaji na manyonyo. Sasa kuna kitu inanibamba kama hii scandal ya SHA. Wacha watu wakule hiyo do. Ati yo Duale ataingia hapo hivyo atasafisha rada. Umecheki Northeastern. Ati kuna hospitali imepigwa mita 6, ukienda kuangalia ni Kimawe mtu wangu jo. Ingine tu ni kiwanja, hata kuna kitu. Tuko tunaongea historia ya shati. Wase wanatutusi kwa hii comment section, tuko tunashambuliwa du hivi. Wacha sasa hiyo do ikulwe sasa. Unacheki? Juu kama hivyo ndio watu hutaka. Juu sasa sasa wewe ni mtu tutam. Kitu mbaya bado tunaisupport. Hata kama ni mimi nipate na hiyo SHA saa hizi. Nayo. Nimecheki hospitali fulani kwa hivyo ni Nyanza. Buda ni mabushi inapigwa sijui mita 4. Unaona? Na bado ngoja hii ngori ya nini hii housing affordable housing, kuna hiyo ngori inakuja, mtashtuka jo. Watu wale tu kusema tu sawa. Sasa hizo acha ni kwa moja. Sasa hizi hakuna kupinga mtu. Mtu akisema ni hivi ni hivyo. Sisi wengine tukaa tu na kuangalia kwa umba. Usitake jua.
Hello, let me speak something about SHA. The SHA issue. Because now it appears like SHA doesn't appear. It's true that SHA is a conduit for theft and embezzlement of public funds. When William Ruto came into office, and now he was the president, he was in charge of everything, as opposed to before when he was a deputy. He was handling things as delegated by the president, the former president. Now he was a head of state, commander-in-chief, and he's the one who says what happens and what doesn't happen. And that is very unfortunate because we have a constitution that, tells us how, when, and why some things should be done. So he thought about all ways he can make so much money to be the richest man in Kenya. Probably, I don't know, maybe Africa. And he has the urge to get money. That is the only thing he lives for. That is the only thing he is here for. And so he thought about many things, apart from the many other avenues through which he steals money. He realized there's so much money in education. If you look at the budget, even this year's budget, education has the highest budget. Is it education? Yes, education has like the highest budget. And they realize that there's a lot of money there. At the same time, health. So these two big departments, two big ministries that have the most money. So he decided to think about something. He said he's going to replace this NHIF. NHIF was working, honestly. Let's be honest, NHIF was working. But he decided that he's going to replace NHIF with SHA. Why? Because the NHIF system already had its people that knew how things work around, and he was not able to, find his way around and to get to know how that old system was working and how he could manipulate that old system to get himself as much money as he wanted. And so that's why he decided to get something completely new. Something that he knew how, he knew everything, a system that he knew from A to Z, a system that he understood very well, and a system that he knew ways through which he could steal funds. That was the birth of SHA. He put his people in charge. He calculated very well, and he knew that he's going to use some people to have hospitals that don't exist or hospitals that no longer function. But these hospitals will probably get the hugest chunk of the money that SHA distributes, and that this money would go to his pocket through his people. At the same time, and I'm happy that now people have realized that enyewe SHA is a sham, and SHA was meant to kill Kenyans. At the same time, he looked for another place, education, as I was saying, and he decided to replace the old funding model with this new funding model, NFM. Let me tell you, we haven't just known how William Ruto steals money through this new funding model, but I believe, just like SHA, we believed and we made a lot of noise. I believe this new funding model is also a conduit for stealing public funds. And very soon, very, very soon, we will get to know how. Because tell me why students have gone to school, and even William Ruto himself has been going to school for the longest time, and he has used this same model that is now thinking, or that is now replacing, and that he thinks is no longer working. Tell me why he wants to replace it. Because he's not familiar with that system, and he wants to get a system of his own, a system that is familiar with, and a system that he understands how he can steal money from. So Kenyans, let's open our eyes. The William Ruto's administration does not mean well for any Kenyan. They only mean well for them and their families. And so the earlier we realize this, or rather the earlier we believe this, the better. Let us think about how we are going to change this current regime. And let us think about how we are going to drain the swamp, how we are going to take everyone home. Because all these people should go home so that we can have a working government. We must replace this system with a better system. And the keyword is system. I've been saying this because I don't believe we are going to get any messiah from somewhere who can do everything on his or her own. We must find a team of people who can form government and who can work for the Kenyan people. Thank you for listening to me.
So SHA went on and closed all their sub-county and regional offices, and even 7 of their offices here in Nairobi. Now, the interesting part is not even the part that most patients are not getting access to SHA, because that one was already there. The interesting part is the fact that most of the workers that were in those sub-county and regional offices now don't know what to do. They have been reassigned to other offices, but with no particular duties. So they just show up to the office and just hang around the whole day, then go home. And the problem is some of them have to commute for very long distances to get to the remaining offices. Talk about confusion. Yani, they just go to work and just hang around the whole day and wait. I don't know for what exactly. Someone even said that they're being frustrated into quitting. Might be true.
Ni aje wase, you must be stupid to sign something you don't know. Na hizo si word zangu. That's President Ruto dismissing governors when they questioned the transparency of the SHA agreement with the Ministry of Health. And why are the governors uneasy about this deal? 3 reasons. They don't know who the supplier is, yet they're being asked to sign on to leasing medical equipment. They don't know when these equipments will actually be delivered, even after payments begin. And 3, and most importantly, they don't know the total cost of the equipments they are leasing. And instead of answers, all they get is a payment schedule showing 60 to 80% of SHA funds will allegedly go directly to mysterious suppliers. So what does this actually mean to ordinary Kenyans? For example, an MRI scan, SHA covers 11,000. Vendor anapewa ngapi? 9,900. Leaving the county hospital with just 1,100 Kenya shillings. In some instances, supplier anachukua even more than what SHA covers. For example, the PC ligament or AC ligament repair, SHA covers 280,000, but the supplier atapewa 340,000. That's almost more than 60,000. Anaenda nayo. And for life-saving procedures like thoracic aortic repair, the vendor or supplier pockets the entire 1.12 million Kenya shillings covered by SHA, leaving the county hospital with how much? Zero sufuri nakwambia. Imagine. Nothing. So with hospitals left broke, they are forced to raise their services. ndio waweze kusurvive. Na nani anaumia, if you might guess, or might ask yourself? Ordinary Kenyans, already crushed by overtaxation and inflation. So I say, we fought before and won. Tumeangusha Adani, tukaangusha finance bill, sembuse hii sijui shift angasha. Let's demand a return to the working and proven NHIF system before billions disappear into thin air. Cause manze, onge honesty, onge transparency, onge accountability with this government.
CS of Health Aden Duale has dismissed the claims circulating on social media about disbursement of fees of SHA to different hospitals which are non-existent. And he's saying, actually, they don't know it like that. They have real info. They have information about these hospitals. Some of them were downgraded. Some of them were written off. So they have info. We don't. Na wakasema, alisema enda kwa site. Enda uangalie kwa site. Most of those hospitals zilifungwa in May. Before the disbursement was done. I mean, membo mwende kwa site mwache kuongea mingi hapa kwa social media. They knew things. Si ati hawako wanajua, lakini si nikaa tumuongezea chumvi, umenipata? So endeni kwa site mwache kuongea mingi. Secrets are coming out thick and fast. Listen to this. A section of Kenyans have found out, they have established that allegedly there is a bank called the Civic Bank. That Civic Bank is responsible for this endless plundering of money through SHA. So state officials are using this bank to come and withdraw allegedly large sums of money in stacks. Now, that section of Kenyans want to stage a protest to occupy the Civic Bank. We want to see how this story goes because secrets are coming out thick and fast. Let's see how that goes.
So guys, this is Honorable Peter Salasia, the Mobile Parliament of Mumias constituency. I'm here at St. Mary's Hospital, Mumias. This is a hospital that has a very big history, that even my own sister passed from this hospital when she came to find the medical, and it's a very important hospital, a very dire one, has assisted my father, and it has treated so many people. And today is a hospital that was started in 1932, even before the independence. But something so surprising, that after all those years in existence, that today we are here, that there's no life in this hospital. This is a very sad moment for this country, a sad moment for this county. This is a level 4 hospital that has been so vital, that has been so critical in terms of, and it is as much as it's a mission hospital, but it's being owned by a community, that the first place where you will run is in this St. Mary's Hospital. But today, because of the cartelism, because of the selfish interest of the few cartels in this country, they decided to collapse the healthcare system in this country. You can imagine a hospital like this that runs with a budget of 15 million. They came when the NHIF, they were having a debt of NHIF with about 143 million. When they came, hiyo pesa ikakunywa maji. Mtu akakula pesa ya NHIF, and they never brought a single audit report to know how much was it remaining with the NHIF before they collapsed it. No one knew the status quo by that time. Even the House Committee, we never knew about it. They later came in with the SHA. For the last 3 months, there was nothing happening with the healthcare system. And this is a hospital that was in the operation. The management needs to be paid to be run and all that. Because you understand the nature of our people, the poverty level index and all that. Then they come with the SHA. Today, as they speak, they talk about the SHA as they're going to solve the problem. They claims they can get up to 15 million a month, but the only money that the ministry delivers is 2 million, 2.5 million. How will you expect a hospital like this to run? That even after the 3 months, the SHA was not operational. There was accumulation of all the other costs. Then again, instead of giving what they produce, what they give, you only give 2 million. And yet you are telling Kenyans to pay the whole amount for the whole period of. This is a very unfortunate moment. And I think I asked the President of the Republic of Kenya, can you reflect and see where are we going as a nation? Duale, you speak so much in the public gallery about the successes of the SHA. Why have you allowed SHA to collapse the hospitals? Even today, when Kenyatta will arise, he'll rise from the grave, he'll be surprised. Even today, when Moi will arise from the grave, we'll be so surprised. When Kibaki will come back, he will be so surprised. We need action. And we are going to summon Duale to come to the parliament to explain. If this is the time for the impeachment, we are going to impeach somebody. We are not going to accept. This is unacceptable. 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 I don't know what we can say. And I'm speaking this from my deep heart, from my heart, because I know the importance of this hospital.
I don't work for government. I didn't even vote in this government that is there. But I want to talk to you about SHA. Recently, I was feeling some pain below my abdomen, and I went to see a doctor. And he told me, go and do some scans. So I did some scans, went back to him. He told me, are you registered in SHA? I told him no. Why? Because it doesn't work. Who told you? The TV. And the confidence with which I was saying was so... Hata hakuniuliza swali lingine. Then it turned out I had to do some minor surgery. So before that surgery, I had to see a surgeon to check who would then interpret those scans. And so I went to see him, and I told him, by the way, we agreed that I need to do a minor surgery. Then he asked me, are you registered in SHA? I told him no. Why? Because it doesn't work. Who told you? TV. Now, he told me, you stop being a joke. Even the other doctor had told me, if you decide to do a surgery and let's say it's this amount and they pay this amount, you're saving some money. So when I went to see the surgeon, he told me, again, he tried to tell me it works. And he told me how to register. Me, I don't waste time. Immediately, I went to a cyber, and he had directed me how to register. I registered. I paid. Luckily, I had some money on my M-Pesa. I paid. The only thing I found is that you have to pay for the whole year. Nani akona pesa ya kulipa a whole year? And it's the one that determines how much you're supposed to pay after the questions you answer there, you know? The questions you answer. Which kind of a house do you live in? Blah, blah, blah. Shauri yako. Sasa. I paid. And then, so now we went on to the procedure of booking. When I went to that hospital where I was supposed to have the surgery, the first thing is that they fill in forms. Are you in SHA? Blah, 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 blah. And then they say what surgery they are doing or whatever it is they are doing. And they request for a certain amount. And a message comes to you, by the way, on your phone, the phone that you give Uko. For me, I found that system brilliant. I mean, it's even telling me how much they have. First of all, that somebody has actually requested for that. Then it tells me that they have granted on my phone. And I paid less. So, and I'm still seeing people here saying it doesn't work. So me, I don't know kama ni it works for some things and not for some things. I don't know. But those 2 doctors told me it works. And then I was telling them, even if I register now, see, they have to wait for a certain period of time before it starts working, because NHIF, you couldn't register for NHIF today, and tomorrow it starts working. Hiya, this one, I registered on Friday, and I'm eligible immediately. Man, me, I'm just Irene. So, I've told you when I didn't vote for this government. So, I'm just wondering, when I hear people say it's not working, can somebody tell us in the comment section, does it work for some things and not some things? Let me see you any government official.
Kama ushaisikia nonsense fulani, nonsense tu fulani, na inakuwaga very common phrase, kwamba mimi ni Muislamu na sikulagi haramu. Inua mkono juu. If you have ever heard of that silly phrase, kwamba mimi ni Muislamu na mimi sikulagi haramu, raise your hand. Okay, a lot of hands. Sawa. Eka mikono chini. Listen. Wakati Eden Duale alitransferiwa from sijui forestry ama sijui environment ama sijui akakuja ku Ministry of Health, the very first ama second week alifanya, na nilifanya hiyo video hapa and nilikuwa nimepost, he was looking for 600 million Kenyan shillings to destroy medicine allegedly gone bad worth 9 billion Kenyan shillings. All along tumekuwa tukiambiwa kwamba hospitali hazina madawa. But kitu ya kwanza, Duale aliingia kwa ofisi, alikuwa anatafuta 600 million shillings to destroy medicine, allegedly bad medicine, oh my God, gone bad, ama expired medicine worth 9 billion Kenyan shillings. Was it 9 ama 90? I don't know, but just know, hiyo ndio ilikuwa kitu yake ya kwanza. Now, listen. Na this now tells why, hata wakati media ilikuwa inajaribu kumquestion about SHA, angetumia security men wake hapo wasikumanishe mpaka ule jamaa wa media wa NTV mwenye kwa jaribu kuuliza ati if you are saying SHA is working, na kuna hospitali hapa zimesuspend SHA services because of payments zenye hazijafanywa. Kidogo he started ranting na kaanza kutusi watu, oh we are going to shut down Standard Media ama Nation Media, kama Nation Media inataka kufungua hospitali yake ifungue tutawaregister kwa SHA. Alikuwa anasema hivyo kijokes by the way. Kumbe from the northern area of his facilities, medical facilities zinakuwa registered, they are being set up na zinapatiwa pesa there and there. This clown, this mukora hiding behind religion, all of a sudden ameregister legit health facilities zenye zina deserve because SHA owes them. Wao kuandikia SHA kwamba they are asking for money and this clown registers them. Then huko northern area huko wana create several hospitals. Some ziko in existence, some majority of them they are not in existence, and they have dispersed finances, millions and millions of shillings. Millions and millions of shillings. SHA isha hiyo psyop ya SHA ya nini? Chan isha sorry. Hiyo psyop ya Chan ilikuwa tu ni one way of rejuvenating, sisi tujikusanye, tukuwe na energy, but a call of patriotic duty. I can hear the voices. The call of patriotic duty is already calling. So, simu, maji, bendera, proper fitting shoes, we are about to hit the road again. Mimi ni Muislamu, sikulagi haram. Trash.
And in case you forgot, the SHA system costed this country 104 billion Kenya shillings. And personally, I believe that when that SHA system was being implemented, that is when all these ghost hospitals found their way into SHA. And coincidentally, the biggest number of ghost hospitals is being seen from where the CS Health is from. What a coincidence. And sadly, the people from that region travel for miles to go and get good hospitals. Yet their location to their ghost hospitals is the bigger than normal functioning big hospitals. Biggest coincidence of the year. And Kenyans are still being forced to pay for SHA, and they're not receiving services. That is the icing on the cake.
Bilioni 100 na zaidi ilichukuliwa kutoka system ya SHA. Auditor General ameweza kuzungumza. Sijui sasa rais uongo gani ingine utaongezea. SHA is not working because you as a person, President William Ruto, did irregular procurement, na wewe mwenyewe ulisimama ili wizara ikifanya hiyo kazi ili uwe beneficiary wewe mwenyewe.
I have called this press conference today to provide a very comprehensive update on our relentless effort and fight against fraud, and to address recent discussions, including those on social media and from various professional associations. Our position on safeguarding public resources has been very consistent, clear, and unwavering. As articulated in my previous press statement, which I did on the 16th of June, on the 30th of June, and on the 8th of August, our commitment to uncompromising stance against fraud is a foundational pillar of the Taifa Care Program. These concerns now being raised are not new to us. They have been an integral part of our public discourse and enforcement actions from the very beginning. This position is rooted in our constitutional obligation under Article 43(1)(a) of the Constitution of Kenya, which guarantees every Kenyan citizen the right to the highest attainable standard of health. To fulfill this right, we must ensure the prudent and accountable use of public funds, as mandated by the Public Finance Management Act. Every shilling, I repeat, every shilling contributed to the Social Health Insurance Fund must go towards legitimate, life-saving healthcare for the people of Kenya.
Health Authority is a dishonest, fraudulent scam and not a cover for universal health, reveals several avenues of massive corruption. First is the controversial SHA system, a technology software procured directly from 3 companies in utter breach of procurement rules for over 104 billion shillings. The government denies that the system does not cost that much, but the documents tell a story of extravagance, if not mismanagement of public funds.
So we are dealing with a situation that is very, very dangerous, that the Ruto government is fully behind it, and Ruto personally is responsible because yesterday at the funeral he claimed that he's not a fool to commit the government to buy software at a cost of 104 billion, or for more than 100 billion. But the facts speak a different story. They have done that, so they know very well what they have done, but because they have been exposed, they are trying to play with our minds.
The documents also shed the light on the hefty salaries those running the SHA system are expected to pocket each month for a period of 10 years. Kenyans will be forced to pay them between 5 million shillings per person and 2 million shillings.
There's even somebody who just, if you look at the TORs, he's basically in charge of keeping some flash disks. He's being paid 2 million shillings per month. It's more than what we pay the president of Kenya.
The Busia senator has also highlighted how the different premiums offered by SHA, ironically a universal health cover, are the other avenues of looting. Days after it emerged that Kenyans' contributions go to escrow accounts, Omtata has alleged that Kenyans contributing to SHA are being scammed and their contributions taken out of the Kenyan economy.
We are being scammed by people who know what they are doing. It's not accidental. The SHA is not, it's not that the SHA chief is not working. It's an extortion scheme. It's supposed to get money out of Kenyans and transfer that money out of the Kenyan economy.
The senator further poking holes on the allocation of money to SHA in the budget, yet Kenyans are also contributing their money to the fund. According to Treasury CS John Mbadi, the government recently pumped 6 billion shillings to SHA.
Where are those billions in the budget allocated to healthcare going? If we have to pay from our separate premiums, where are they going? So it is not a simple matter. We are dealing with a very, very rotten government that is stealing with the left hand, stealing with the right hand, stealing with the left leg, stealing with the right leg, stealing with the head, stealing in all manner of ways. And at the end of the day, we shall not have a country that we can call home.
The senator vowing to institute legal charges himself against the president over SHA.
We need to make it very clear to President William Ruto and his cohort that we shall hold them accountable and responsible. And Kenya has reached a stage whereby people will be leaving State House and going to prison.
David Muthoka, NTV, Nairobi.
The SHA Ghost Hospitals scandal could be bigger than initially thought, and it seems the Nyandiwa Medical Center issue was just the tip of the iceberg. Now, Kenyans have done some digging, in SHA's records and in the MOH, that's the Ministry of Health records, and the data zenye zimekuwa retrieved are quite startling. Let me just give you a rundown of some medical facilities. Zingine ni non-existent, zingine ni room moja, na Kenyans wamechambua wakapata kwamba these medical facilities zina receive millions. Now there's Hanano Medical Center, which is non-existent, received 4 million shillings from SHA in June. Ayale Medical Center, which is in Mandera, received 8 million shillings from SHA. Now what's interesting, ni Mandera kuna wizi inaendelea sana, because most of these medical facilities zimekuwa registered in Mandera. Kuna the Kale Medical and Diagnostic Center, 3.6 million. And inaweza kuwa ziko Mandera because now kama hosiko Mandera we utaenda kutrace aje. Lazano Healthcare in Mandera again received 6 million shillings. The Kale Medical and Diagnostic Center, 3.6 million shillings. What's important to note about Dakale ni kuna 3 institution medical facilities zenye zimekuwa registered kwa the Ministry of Health records with the Dakale name. Kuna medical center, kuna dispensary which is public, but the private medical center receives more money than the dispensary, and it's a tactic in the Kenya Somegundo inatumika kuiba pesa from SHA. Register facility under 3 different names or 2 different names, one as a public entity, other one as a private entity, and then of course the private entity gets more money than the public entity. Now Trenya Hospital in Kisii, non-existent, 4.3 million shillings in June. Zamzang Nursing Home in Ramu, mnakumbuka tutoke Modogashe twende Ramu, 8 million shillings in 3 months. Belgoron Medicare, 2.8 million shillings. Na hiyo ilianza receive pesa in April. And if you dig through, SHA's records, unapata this scandal, this heist ilianza all the way from April to August. So watu wamekuwa kikula vizuri. Kadasamu Medical Center received 2.8 million shillings in June, but it's non-existent. And of course, the CS for Health at Dendwali Juzi may suspend hospitals, around 40 hospitals, like I said, they are questionable, but those could have just been for optics, because the owners have not been sued, and they have not been held legally accountable for those misdeeds. So anasema mazejo, kuna shida MOH, kuna shida SHA, watu wache optics and let the actual purge begin.
Ni aje wase, you must be stupid to sign something you don't know. Nezo si wadzangu. That's President Ruto dismissing governors when they questioned the transparency of the SHA agreement with the Ministry of Health. And why are the governors uneasy about this deal? 3 reasons. They don't know who the supplier is, yet they're being asked to sign on to leasing medical equipment. They don't know when these equipments will actually be delivered, even after payments begin. And 3, and most importantly, they don't know the total cost of the equipments they are leasing. And instead of answers, all they get is a payment schedule showing 60 to 80% of SHA funds will allegedly go directly to mysterious suppliers. So what does this actually mean to ordinary Kenyans? For example, an MRI scan, SHA covers 11,000. Vendor anapewa ngapi? 9,900, leaving the county hospital with just 1,100 Kenya shillings. In some instances, supplier anachukua even more than what SHA covers. For example, the PC ligament or AC ligament repair, SHA covers 280,000, but the supplier atapewa 340,000. That's almost more than 60,000. And for life-saving procedures like thoracic aortic repair, the vendor or supplier pockets the entire 1.12 million Kenya shillings covered by SHA, leaving the county hospital with how much? Zero sufuri nakwambia. Imagine. Nothing. So with hospitals left broke, they are forced to raise their services. Ndio waweze kusurvive. Na nani anaumia, if you might guess, or might ask yourself? Ordinary Kenyans, already crushed by overtaxation and inflation. So I say, we fought before and won. Tumeangusha Adani, tukaangusha finance bill, sembuse hii sijui shift angasha. Let's demand a return to the working and proven NHIF system before billions disappear into thin air. Cause manze, onge honesty, onge transparency, onge accountability with this government.